Some of you may be wondering what I'm talking about when I talk about equals. Some may be thinking it's chemistry, equivalent, mathematics. No, I'm talking about men and women. Women have been striving for equality for tens, hundreds of years, and they've been working very hard. It used to be their job to stay home, to raise children, and to keep the house orderly, as if that's not much of a job. But they didn't enter into the workforce. Then, about 200 years ago, they started becoming school teachers, and they started getting into the workforce a little bit. Or you may have seen in the Western days when they would help shop the store as an owner in the mercantile business. And then, lo and behold, women wanted to vote. They wanted to be heard. So in the early 1900s, they were striving for equality when it came to voting. And they succeeded. More recently, women have been concerned about equal pay. I agree that if you do the best job, and you are the best person for that job, that you should be paid appropriately for the job. It shouldn't matter whether you're a man, woman, whether you're one race or another. It doesn't matter. If you're the best person for the job, you should be getting paid for the job that you do. So I think that's great. And I think we're getting closer to equality in the workplace. However, there are other areas in which women are also striving to be equal. There are areas that have forever been a masculine stronghold. I'm going to tell you a story about what happened to me on Saturday. And hopefully it will inspire you to support women in what they're doing. I went to the NHRA Winter National Drag Races on Saturday. I walked in there, it was raining. I walked through the pits in the rain, and you would think that people would be standing there going, oh, it's raining, we're not going to get a chance to race today. Wrong. They were in there rebuilding those motors as if they could race in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And as it turns out, the sun came out a little bit, and they were able to race. What does this have to do with equality? I'm getting there. Let's talk about drag racing. There's different models or classifications of racing. You have pro stock cars. These run gas, and they do anywhere from 100 to about 175 miles an hour in a quarter mile. They're going a quarter mile, which is over 1,000 feet, in under 10 seconds. That's fast. You may have heard some of these cars racing up and down the street by your house. Those are the ones that should be at the track. But even those cars aren't as fast as the ones that you see when you go to the drag races. They have top fuel cars. Well, let me back up and talk about top alcohol and kind of progress in order. Top alcohol cars are faster than pro stock, but they're not as fast as these monstrous nitromethane eating dragons. These cars will do 200 miles an hour, up to maybe even 250 miles an hour. And you're trimming the time to go that quarter of a mile in about 6 or even 5 seconds. You're pulling G-force equivalents when you're behind the wheel. It's incredible. Step up another notch and you have top fuel. Nitromethane burning monsters. 7,000 horsepower machines. These cars are incredible. The last time I went to the drag races was probably 25 years ago. I remember seeing Don Garlitz, who was Big Daddy of drag racing, when he went 275 miles an hour, and it was a first. It was awesome. When they were trying to break 5 seconds in the quarter mile, you know what they ran on Saturday? In the dragsters and the funny cars. The real long dragsters, they're funny looking, and funny cars, which have like a plastic carbon fiber top on them, so they're lightweight but very strong. 7,000 horsepower. They were going 330 miles an hour. The fastest one went 335 miles an hour in a quarter mile. You know how quickly they went down that track? 3.71 seconds. From start at a complete stop to a quarter mile down the road. And a couple of them, the chutes didn't open. Try to stop that when you have about 1/8 of a mile to go from the end of the track into the sand pit and then into a big net. It looks like a big ship in the Navy net. Well, a couple of them found out about the net because they ended up in the net. Delightful for the fans as long as nobody gets hurt because it adds excitement. 330 miles an hour. You had to wear earplugs. Now, to get back to our equality statement here. Who was behind the wheel of these cars? You always think, oh, it's that race car guy down the street that since he was a little kid, he's riding something fast, motorcycle, car, sports car, race car. Yes, they were there. But what was interesting to me is how many female drivers are out there now. It was incredible. When I went to the drags before, the only female driver I remember ever seeing was Shirley Muldowney. And she drove a dragster in the 70s. She was very good at it, but she was about the only one. There might have been one or two others, but she was the one that anybody had ever heard of. This weekend, I looked at the results of Sunday's finals. We actually had the winner of the Winter Nationals this year for the dragsters, those nitromethane eating monsters, was a female. And she went, and I'm going to look at my notes to get it right. Her name is Leah Pritchett. And she went 324 miles an hour on her final run and did the quarter mile in 3.71 seconds. If you take a long blink or you yawn, it's longer than it took her to get from A to B on that track. Some of the other notable women that are in the races, and several were there on Saturday. Have you ever heard of John Force? He was the Castrol GTX top funny car driver for years. His daughters are racing. His daughter beat him this weekend and knocked him out. His daughter came in second place. Courtney Force was in the funny car fire-breathing monster competition. She came in second, 326 miles an hour, 3.9 seconds. Imagine that. In pro stock, a little bit slower, but just as strong. Erica Enders. You may have seen a movie they made of her when she was a kid, when she was in the smaller dragster series. She's now a pro stock racer and made semifinals. Top alcohol funny cars, another one where we have females. We have Alexis DeGeorgia, Brittany Force. She's at a dragster. Her sister is in the funny cars. On motorcycles, oh, you got to hear about the motorcycles. Harley Davidson, 1,000 horsepower, nitromethane powered motorcycles. 212 miles an hour in the quarter mile. And there was a female driver racing one. It's incredible. So it all goes to show you, equality is coming about in areas that you may not have thought about before. And if there's one thing to inspire you tonight in hearing what I have to say, it's that you can be whatever you want to be. All you have to do is put your mind to it and go for it. Go for it. Go for it. And don't let anybody tell you no, or you can't, or oh, you're a girl and you can't do it. It's a man's sport. How many times have we heard that? Don't listen to them. Do what you want to do, and you will succeed. Like